I said this before that Fannie Willis most likely is going to have to step down because she was reelected into office. So all you people living down there in Fulton County, you voted this woman back in. Why? I don't know. I think black people, because Fulton County is majority black. I just think black people, you love to suffer. You know, you probably don't know that you have options. But I want to swing back to the Georgia House. So the Georgia House Democrats, they stormed out of the chambers yesterday in protest of the Republican bill. And the Republican bill was to block taxpayer dollars being spent on prison inmates for gender affirming care. So the Republicans created a bill, and I guess because it's a majority Republican, they created a bill to stop taxpayers' dollars from being spent on prison inmates who want to change their sex. And the Democrats walked out in protest. I'm like, what are you protesting for? What are you protesting for? Because that's a good thing. Let me put this here. That is a good thing. I don't want my tax, mind you, I don't live in Georgia, but even if I did, it don't matter where I live at. I don't want my state taxes nor my federal taxes to be spent on somebody getting cosmetic surgery. And that's what it is. You want your penis chopped off, or you want to replace your vagina with a penis. That's cosmetic surgery. Why should I have to pay for that? That was your choice. Now, on a federal level, there are federal prisons that do assist transgender people with their hormonal medication. So if it's a transgender person and they committed a crime and they had to go to federal prison and they were already taking hormones, the federal prison has to continue to give them their hormones. We're paying for that. If somebody has cancer, they get chemotherapy, they get radiation, they get dental. You get top-notch health insurance as an inmate on a state and federal level. But the federal dollars, I don't know if they actually pay for a sex change, but they do pay for their hormonal medication. But Georgia Democrats, they want taxpayers to pay for prison inmate sex change. First of all, that's not fair. That's not fair because let's just say majority of society, didn't care too much about transgenders or whatever. People who are not prison inmates, they have to pay for a sex change by themselves, coming out of their own pocket, because insurance companies don't cover that. So why should an inmate get a free ride off of our backs, where a person who is not a criminal, they have to pay out of pocket, as you should. And then two, my taxpayers, when it goes to the prison system on a state level, it is to make sure that the bad people stay locked up. Now, they still have their constitutional rights, somewhat the same as mine. However, my tax dollars is to make sure that they're locked up and they're supposed to be rehabilitated, not to go to prison to get cosmetic surgery. I'm sorry. So I want to play this clip here of the Democrats actually protesting, walking out of the chambers.
Yeah, I better get in there.
I don't know what happened with LA Paints.
I'm sorry.
But I figured the leader walk, I can walk with her. Come on, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, I refuse to believe that all of those Democrats that walked out, that they believe in or support transgender. They support. I don't believe that they actually support taxpayers paying for someone's sex change. And majority of those people were one black, two colored, and then all the white people all the people that was clapping, they were all white and they were probably part of the LGBTQAI plus community. And I want to know what organization that has a lot of funding power that actually pay these people, these Democrats, to walk out and protest. They didn't do it because morally they felt as though it was wrong. This has nothing to do with morals, but they try to present it to us as if morally that is wrong for the Republicans to pass a bill to prohibit taxpayers from paying for someone's sex change. Why are you protesting that? Why don't you ask the taxpayers, do you want your tax dollars going to change in someone's sex?
Better yet, let's ask the taxpayers or ask anybody. I mean, is this what they voted for? They voted for them to walk out. Now here it is. We have all of this happening over here at the jail with inmates. And nobody has walked out. Nobody has said nothing. Nobody has done nothing to the sheriff. But here it is for 5, because what they didn't tell you in the bill only went for 5 people. It didn't include all of the inmates. It's only 5 inmates, okay, that this bill is inclusive to. This doesn't have anything to do with all of the inmates, 5. But then you have trillions of inmates, and I say trillion because there is over 3,000 or something, or even more than that, in the Fulton County Jail, and nobody is talking about the things that's happening over here at this jail with the murders and the malfeasance and all this stuff that's going on over here. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody walking out. Nobody doing none of that. But y'all want us to get on board with it is powerful that you walked out for 5 transgenders on taxpayer dollars. Is this what the taxpayers signed up for? Is this what they voted you in for? I should ask, here in Georgia. Is this what they were voting in for? Because from the last time I checked, they wasn't voting in to worry about where their money is, and they have to pay for that. Transgender, whatever goes on with the transgender in jail, in prison, or in wherever they're having this stuff done at, the taxpayers are responsible for paying for that. So when they think that they're hurting someone, you are hurting the people here in your community. You're not hurting Trump. You're not hurting Elon Musk. You're not hurting anybody. They were all out there. Elon Musk, go home. Elon Musk, go home. So where did y'all go from wanting Trump out of office to now wanting Elon Musk? Oh, because Elon Musk was showing you where y'all money was going. Now here it is. Bailey, I think his name is, I don't know. He just won over Misha Maynor, the seat over Misha Maynor in District 56. Now his classroom cannot even read at a 7th grade level, but y'all are walking out because of inmates. Like y'all have so much other stuff to talk about.
Misha Maynor was a Republican. Did a Democrat beat her or another Republican?
No, a Democrat.
A Democrat.
A demon rat. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And his district has what you said, low reading level for
school. He was a school teacher, and he has a 7th grade classroom that he teaches. And his 7th grade classroom is failing. His whole school is failing, but his 7th grade classroom is failing as well. And they made him into a state representative over a full district. So if you're dealing with a failing classroom and the district of 56 is failing, what are you going to do with your district? Because I'm dying to see all of this, because let me tell you something. If he thinks he's going to get in there and just sit around and do nothing, He got a community that makes you work. Okay. Misha Maynor stayed working. She stayed involved with the community. She stayed doing something positive and productive for her community. And they tried to take her out because of the bill with the children, you know, her passing the bill that a kid can go to any school they want to.
Mm-hmm. So the thing is, you know, and this is what I'm trying to understand, that these people in this Georgia Senate here, they are not listening to their constituents, because I didn't know it was just 5. And that's the crazy thing. You're talking about 5 transgenders out of the whole state.
Yes.
Because this is for the state. So 5 people, and this is why the population for just transgender is very, very, very low. So 5 people, you want taxpayers to pay, and maybe that's why they have an attitude, because they looking at it. Well, it's only 5 people.
They have an attitude because they don't really care. I don't even think that they were paying attention to that it was only 5 people. I think that they were just doing it just because, you know, the bark. Like I tell them all the time, they bark, we bite. You know, they just barking.
This is another thing now, because I talked about this earlier, and I was on Lamerne Spicer's show. Mm-hmm. They wanted that bill. They didn't want that bill to pass, because if taxpayers are paying for the 5 inmates, then taxpayers could be on the hook to pay for children who want to transform, you know, to another gender. So it starts very small. It starts with the 5 inmates, but the Democrats will expand it across the state of Georgia. And I'm like,
snakes. You know, they
no,
will.
man. Yeah. Like, no. And I think this is why it's very important for Georgia to stay red. Mm-hmm. It's more liberating before, when it was a Dixiecrat, but it's the South. It needs to stay red. They need to not have the Democrats control the Senate at all. Mm-hmm. And who funded that damn protest? Because those people outside clapping, I'm sorry, like, you're clapping for 5 criminals.
Yeah, so been sent to, and probably it may even be child molesters. I mean, we don't even know who they are. That's the sad part about it, is that you want to give a death penalty to someone selling drugs, and though they need to go to jail, which is what they would be saying, Young Thug, you know, because a lot of people is like, oh, he needs to go to jail. Oh, he should be in jail. But then here it is, we haven't even checked the background, because there's 5 of them that's transgenders, but what are their history? Why are they in prison? What is going on? You know, what is the change? The change? They could be child molesters off in there. They could be rapists off in there. We don't know. But here it is. You're fighting for them, and you don't even know the history of them. Like, you have not went and did your research, your background. See, that's the one thing that I'm doing right now. Before I jump into anything, before I get to believing who's going to do or what they're going to do or what they ain't did, I have a background. Like I said, I tell people all the time, like, I got history. I got mine just, thank the Lord, over 20 years old, you know, and it wasn't for no dumb stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And I took the rap. That's the reason why I feel so embedded to help the inmates, because I know what it is to work for someone and have to take the rap for them. You know what I'm saying? I took the rap for the person that I work with. I took a case that I didn't even have to, but because I was so loyal and so, you know, oh, I'm not going to snitch, I'm not going to tell, I went ahead and took a case for somebody that did not even care about me. And he was over me. He was supposed to be my manager. He was supposed to be, I was supposed to be, you know, looking up to him. And here it is. I had to do that. So now that we're dealing with the Funny Willises and all these different people that are taking slack for them, like right now, her whole office could be in danger with her not replying to the information and giving documentations that they're asking for. So you're putting everybody's job on the line because of your own personal gain to this. And they have allowed you to do that and push your weight around based on the fact that you are going after Trump. That's why right now, even with what I just learned about the sheriff, because the sheriff is the highest paid rank between the DA and the sheriff. So right now, I don't know what they're going to even try against me being that the sheriff is able to push his weight around and get away with so much stuff in the DA. They are able to walk in where the judges are and tell the judges to file TPOs out on people and arrest people for false information, and people are going to jail. So with the sheriff even doing that directly to me, I don't know where what may happen to me. I keep a lot of people on alert because I don't know what the sheriff and the DA is capable of doing at this point in particular time. And my life is
still, but they're still doing that to people in that county. And going back to Fulton County Jail, you know, these Democrats walking out protesting over a bill that did pass, that taxpayer dollars will not go to transgenders, gender reaffirming surgery or whatever for inmates. How about they start an no, it is an investigation with the federal the DOJ. They're investigating Fulton County Jail. So why are the Democrats in Georgia, why they're not protesting the horrible conditions that are violating those inmates' right? They're sitting here without even a court date.
That's all I'm saying. Why ain't y'all protesting? Why ain't y'all beating the pavement for that? Why ain't y'all talking about all of this stuff that is truly going on in this jail? And I call it a trap house. In this trap house where inmates are being, and the DOJ said that they were being violated. The DOJ came and did a report about all of the incompetent of the sheriff and the things that's going on. And y'all not protesting against that? Y'all not walking out about that? Y'all are sitting up here allowing a sheriff that is supposed to have power and authority to push his weight around, to put a false TPO out on citizens for speaking out and about the inmates. Now here it is, even a deputy just got stabbed in the neck because of his
recently.
Recently.
How recent? Like in March or
just a week ago, about a week or so ago. And I'll send you the article. I've been posting about it. I even his grandmother came up at the Board of Commissioners. She spoke after I spoke behind me because of someone that worked for the sheriff got to her, and I guess evidently told her that they needed a new jail. So she came down there and started asking for a new jail when she didn't even know that another deputy had let this into the area where the inmate wasn't supposed to be at. Now he wasn't even on lockdown. He was roaming the hallway when all this stuff took place. Now they're not talking about it on the news with the news. But of course I got firsthand at the situation when it happened and when it took place, and he tried to water down the situation, but you know me, I put it out there anyways, because soon as they give me the information, I immediately put it out, because like I tell that sheriff and anybody else, you're not going to be able to breathe around me. Not as long as you're going to have to fire everybody in there, because everybody in there is talking, even your attorney. His attorney is talking. So you would have to fire everybody in order for you to know exactly who's talking to me. And you cannot even afford to do that. So you will continue to go inside meetings mad, disappointed, hurt, feelings upset, because I'm going to continue to give your information out.
So it says Fulton County loves to be victimized because they voted for her again. Yeah, they want to be victims and not victor. And this is the thing. People sit up here, they want to criticize me and criticize the judge when we talk about Fannie Willis or talk about Fulton County, which is when you have predominantly damn near all of everyone who are in charge are Black. I don't care what color you are. If you are corrupt, you are corrupt.
And if it was a white man doing all this to Black inmates, they would, let me tell you something. This would be all over. This would be CNN nationwide. This would be all over the place. But because it is a demon rat, Black, okay, and a Black DA, because if this was anybody else, you see what they did to Paul Howard. If you didn't go back and go check and see what happened to Paul Howard, the former DA, they drove him in the dirt for, he's sleeping with women, he doing this, he doing that. Well, she's doing worse And y'all not saying, y'all haranguing and hooping, you know why? Because they're on this Trump, I hate Trump thing. This is the reason why I don't care about you hating Trump. God loves Trump, and so do I, okay?
They ain't know what your data. They ain't know what your data.